Hello, and welcome to Pump Pro Plus's Top 10 Worst BanYa Songs video. My name is Creeveless, and I'd like to thank you for watching our second Top 10 video. If you missed our previous video where I listed my Top 10 Best BanYa Songs, please use the link in the description below. Before we get started, let's lay down the ground rules for songs appearing in this Top 10 list. First, we'll include songs by BanYa from First Dance Floor to Pump It Up Zero. Second, no remixes are permitted, as I intend to judge songs individually. And third, this video lists my personal favorites, and may not represent your favorites. Please leave your top 10 list of the worst BanYa songs in the comments below. With our ground rules in place, let's begin the video. Number 10. Coal. Despite being one of my favorite BanYa songs, Coal belongs on this list for its innate lack of creativity and originality. A plagiarized version of network music ensembles Death Jam and Slam It, Coal is a lackluster track with very little to offer. With that said, Coal is the least offensive song on this list, as it is a cheapened version of the songs which inspired it. In this day and age, it is common for many artists and musicians to face expensive lawsuits from estates of artists and record labels for allegedly borrowing melodies and rhythms from existing works. It is more than likely the threat of litigation is what keeps Coal from being revived in a modern Pump It Up release. And while a revival of the song is appreciated, it is understood why it would be difficult to do so. Thankfully, Coal is playable in Step F2 and other Step Mania variants and can be enjoyed by players in the comfort of their own home. I highly recommend playing the song's freestyle chart for its fun patterns not commonly seen today. Number 9. Final Edition 2. What can I say about Final Edition 2 other than the song is a slightly altered copy of the original? Final Edition 2 isn't a terrible song, not in the least. It is simply a lazy one. In many ways, I believe Final Edition 2 to be superior when compared to its predecessor. For one, the song has a strong opening that immediately grabs my attention over the original. However, it doesn't change the fact Final Edition 2 adds little to make it stand out from other songs in the series. Final Edition 2 is a prime example of BanYa retreading the same material to produce a piece of mediocre music and call it new. It is admirable they attempted to make a sequel song so early in the franchise. However, the song falls flat and fails to leave an impression. To put things simply, Final Edition 2 barely qualifies to be more than a remix of its source material. Number 8. She Likes Pizza. I do not hate this song. However, it isn't a song I would listen to voluntarily. Making its debut in the third dance floor, Oldies But Goodies, She Likes Pizza is a strange entry from the BanYa team that seems more alien than anything else. Much like Hate, She Likes Pizza features a harsh vocal style, incomprehensible lyrics, and leaves me questioning my listening choices. Where the song does shine is in its instrumentation. The guitar and drums are solid, and I appreciate the song's intensity and pace that helps set it apart from others on this list. Apart from the song's choice of vocal style, it is difficult for me to dislike this song based on its other factors. And while the background video is strange and its selection of step charts is lacking, I cannot deny it is a genuine BanYa original song with extreme character. With our bellies and gas tanks full, let's ride and take a gander at our number 7 song. Number 7. Get Your Groove On. As with She Likes Pizza, I do not dislike Get Your Groove On. Truthfully, Get Your Groove On is one BanYa song I would listen to on my own accord. For the most part, I enjoy the song's overall sound and appreciate BanYa's guitar and drum work, much like She Likes Pizza. However, Get Your Groove On falls flat when it comes to its lyrics, as they are frustratingly difficult, if not impossible, to understand. I suppose unclear lyrics are my only gripe with the song, as it is memorable and makes me feel like rocking out whenever I hear it. My only hope is that Get Your Groove On receives more step charts in a future release, breathing new life into the song for Pump It Up players across the difficulty spectrum. And while I am grateful that Get Your Groove On received a new doubles chart in Pump It Up Prime 2, it is barely playable as it is much too hard and represents the song poorly. I'd give Conrad props for revitalizing the song by introducing a new step chart, but I must be critical of its execution. Number 6. Mission Possible. It is unclear how many songs begin with not one, but two burps. I am by no means an expert musician, lyricist, or songwriter, but one thing is abundantly clear. I would never purposely or accidentally include a burp into a piece of art for any other reason than disgust. It is admirable BanYa had the guts to release 2 belly quakes and not spare a second to apologize to the perturbed listeners. What creative genius decided a hot, steamy burp was the best way to kick off a rock and roll adventure? And what's worse is the quality of the listening experience degrades from here. The vocalist isn't awful, but it is comedic how much passion he puts into each word. The guitar is rock solid, and the drums have me swaying my head back and forth like Wayne and Garth in the opening of Wayne's World. The lyrics themselves are nothing special, but unlike Get Your Groove On, they are cohesive and try to tell a story that fits the song. Mission Possible is a guilty pleasure, and it should be no surprise to see me screaming the lyrics at the top of my lungs whenever I hear the song. Number 5. Hate. Wow. Simply wow. While not the worst song by any means, Hate takes the number 5 slot for its overbearing, screechy vocals that nearly leave the ears red with blood. Based on Sibo Mato's Birthday Cake from the Kids in the Hall Brain Candy album, Hate takes inspiration from the original while adding a few unique elements of its own. While Birthday Cake is heavy on keyboards, Hate cranks the guitar and drum beat to 11, giving the song a distinct and appealing flair. I am a fan of both songs, and avidly believe Hate can stand on its own, despite drawing inspiration from Sibo's work. However, the major downfall of both tracks is the Yoko Ono style of singing, which, while impressive, is difficult for the ears to digest without lowering the volume or skipping the tracks altogether. And while I believe the ear-piercing vocals to be intentional as a way to emphasize the surrealness of the song and its lyrics, they come across as a turn-off. Some see these 2 tracks as art, and while I'm not one to disagree, I suggest skipping to the next song on our list. Number 4. Pumping Up. Like many of the songs on this list, BanYa's Pumping Up made its debut in the third dance floor, Oldies But Goodies. And like Hate and She Likes Pizza before it, Pumping Up suffers from some of the same flaws. The vocals are ear-splitting and overexposed, and the lyrics are difficult to understand. Replacing and toning down the main vocalist would help salvage the song, as its instrumentation is solid and pleasurable. As with She Likes Pizza, the guitar, drum, and bass work are groovy, and I find myself invested in Pumping Up's rhythm and melody. Overall, Pumping Up isn't the absolute worst, but it certainly deserves its spot on this list for its fatal flaws. With that said, I am grateful Pumping Up received new step charts over a decade ago, but maybe it is time to give it attention and revitalize it once again. Let's move forward and take a listen to the next song on our list of the top 10 worst BanYa songs. Number 3. Nonsense 2. Making its debut appearance in Pump It Up Exceed, Nonsense 2 is a lackluster BanYa composition that proves how lazy the team can be when they don't give their all. While Nonsense is forgivable, its sequel song fails to deliver something new and original in more ways than one. For starters, Nonsense 2 is incredibly repetitive and loses my interest quickly. And while Nonsense doesn't fare much better, it is understandable why it repeats throughout its entirety, as it is an early BanYa original song. However, by the time Nonsense 2 made its premiere, the BanYa team had many songs in their catalog that proved they had talent and were capable of producing good music. For this reason, it is painful to listen to Nonsense 2, as it lacks originality, and most importantly, personality. If Nonsense 2 were created for an earlier title in the series, I might give it a pass and write it off as a futile attempt to compose a sequel song. But as it stands, the BanYa team was capable of so much more, as Nonsense 2 is an inexcusable piece of fluff that should not exist. Number 2. Next on our list of the top 10 worst BanYa songs is an entry from the third dance floor Oldies But Goodies, An Interesting View. Much like other entries on this list, An Interesting View is an earworm in the worst kind of way. The song feels like a jumbled, goofy mess, littered with high-pitched synths and maniacal laughter from the vocalist throughout its entirety. Ultimately, An Interesting View falls into the category of so bad it's good, for how outrageously goofy and fun it is. And while the charts for the song are lacking, there is room for the Pump It Up Step Chart team to make additional charts for modern players. And despite being nearly 20 years old, An Interesting View's background video is vivid with color and leaves a strange but positive impression on me. In a way, it is challenging to listen to this song and not crack a smile. In the end, An Interesting View is a BanYa song that took a chance being original, and no one can fault them for trying something different. And the number 1 worst BanYa song is With My Lover. Much like Pumping Up, BanYa's With My Lover is a genuine ear bleeder of a song. At 8 seconds in, I hastily pressed the pause button in an attempt to revive my eardrums from the ceaseless wailing of the vocalist. The song is truly an abomination, and one of the worst in the BanYa song catalog. If there is one way to improve the song, I would suggest using a different vocalist, eliminate screaming, and the overall childish demeanor. It is possible the song's meaning is lost on me as it is in Korean, and for that reason, I must be fair in my judgment. Notwithstanding a language barrier, With My Lover is a memorable BanYa song in the absolute worst way. I highly recommend pressing the skip button whenever this song appears in a playlist of any kind. And with that said, what do you think? What are your top 10 worst BanYa songs? Let us know in the comments below, and if you like this video and want to see more, please like and subscribe and enable the notification bell. Thank you for watching, and until next time, take care.